Hi there, welcome to the channel. This is Beyond Disclosure and I'm Corey. This channel is here to record the historic transition into a world where we have some type of official disclosure on the UFO phenomenon, and it's here to help build a community where you can come to ask the right questions and get the right answers. So if you want to be part of a community like that, join the channel and leave comments below. Tonight we're going to talk about what might be coming next with disclosure and how we're going to get that disclosure. Because it's a planned disclosure, right? We just have to look at that piece of legislation from Chuck Schumer that talks about unidentified anomalous phenomena disclosure. The Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Disclosure Act of 2023, or the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023, where it talks about controlled disclosure campaign. The term Controlled Disclosure Campaign Plan. So we do know this is a planned disclosure. So what is the next step in this planned disclosure? Recently, Ross Coulthart said this about what he thinks is going to happen next.
What did we achieve and what does this lead to?
I think the hearing is the first stepping stone in what's going to be both a private and public exposition of a series of shocking witness revelations. I think that eventually, probably within 6 months to a year, we will be in the situation where everything David Grush says has been fully verified and corroborated by multiple witnesses from within the legacy program and within the military and intelligence community.
There's been a lot of attention in the political arena with the whistleblowers and the hearings and the interviews. But is that where the next step in disclosure is going to come from? Because there is an idea that maybe science could make a breakthrough soon and be part of that disclosure, and we'll talk about that in a bit. I think everyone is thinking that there will be more hearings coming soon, and that's what I was thinking and hoping, and I think most people out there after the last hearing we had were expecting another event similar to that might go to another level with some new whistleblowers. We know that we had some witnesses pull out of that first hearing, so I think everyone wants to know who they were and are they going to get their chance to speak. But just as I'm going to film this video now, I've seen this tweet from Christopher Mellon, and it says, "Sadly, it appears that there is little prospect at this time of further hearings on the UAP issue by the House Oversight Committee. However, the Intelligence and Armed Services Committees remain engaged, and there is far-reaching legislation in the DOD bill that establishes a process for declassifying unprecedented amounts of UAP data." Based on that tweet, it looks like we might not be getting any hearings for a while, and that probably isn't the next step in disclosure. I'm sure the hearings will come back around again, but I don't think that's what's happening next. So what is next? What have we got coming up? Well, there are some reports that are due, some UAP reports from different bodies, and I think we've got 2 due in the next 1 to 2 weeks, and that is a NASA report. The NASA report could have something in it that gives us the next little piece of the puzzle, the next little drip as part of this disclosure process. Are NASA going to step up? Because I think at some point they're going to have to, and if this is planned, it would make sense that NASA are the ones that are going to step up to the plate next and give us some truth around the phenomenon. I think they have to, and I think once NASA takes that next step, then I think that message will get out to the public with a bit more force behind it coming from NASA. There's lots of people that don't trust NASA, but there's lots of people that do, and I think a lot of skeptics will believe NASA in what they say. So it'll be a big key point to this whole disclosure process, no doubt. And we also have another report that's due out in the next 2 weeks on UAPs, and that is the Office of the Director of National Intelligence UAP report. They gave us a report last year, and they are due to give us another report. I believe they said it would be by the end of August. So there's not much time left for them to deliver their report. It must be just around the corner. And I believe within these reports, we may be able to get some extra declassified footage, declassified photos. And a lot of what people are talking about at the moment, which might be the next step in images or photographic evidence or video evidence that's being released, it could be from satellite imagery. Apparently there's some really compelling satellite imagery. I think Lou Elizondo talks about it. Christopher Mellon have talked about this satellite imagery that they've seen that is very hard to deny. Satellite footage which would look something like the MH370 satellite footage that is going around at the moment. And I don't want to go into whether that's real or not. I sort of try and stay away from those types of things because it's too hard to tell. So we've all seen a lot of UFO footage on the internet, and at times it's very hard to tell whether it's real or fake. So you've sort of got to take it with a grain of salt and move on, as interesting as it is. But it will look like this satellite imagery that is going around, which is supposedly UFO swarming MH370. I think if they don't come into these reports, then we might get some of that sort of stuff leaked over the next few months anyway. Some of the spy satellites that are in place for the US, I believe, are part of a National Reconnaissance Office program called Sentient. From what I understand, Sentient is an AI program that uses the spy satellites to identify a lot of different things around the globe, a lot of different things happening. One thing it's specifically designed to do is look for UAPs and record UAPs. So it could be some of that data coming through in any of these reports that we're looking forward to. And then finally, we will have a third report, and that is a DOD Department of Defense report, UAP report. I'm not sure exactly when this report is coming, but I believe there is another DOD UAP report coming before the end of this year. So we have 3 really important reports coming up before the end of the year. And let's not forget, although the hearings look like they may have been stopped for the meantime, that doesn't stop more whistleblowers coming through and making official complaints. So I'm sure that we will hear about that if that's happening. That could likely put more pressure back on Congress to pick up these hearings again. With the other whistleblowers that are ready to come forward, we have been told that there is about 40 of them, 40 whistleblowers, and some of these whistleblowers are actually working within the legacy programs, and they have the first-hand accounts. They are touching the technology, or at least working in close proximity to the technology within those departments. Here is Ross Coulthart telling us what he knows about the whistleblowers that are speaking to him.
Are any of the people that you've been speaking with prior to actually knowing Dave, have they had hands-on experience with actual full craft or any component of the craft firsthand? These people you can't name, yes or no?
Yes. In some cases, those people weren't told what they were looking at, but they were aware that what they were looking at was not human technology.
And in some cases, they were told what they were looking at, right, Ross?
Affirmative.
Here's what Jeremy Corbell recently said in a TV interview about what is coming with these whistleblowers next.
Do you think that some of the whistleblowers that we've been talking about, I heard one estimate of 40 whistleblowers or thereabouts in the wings ready to go. What kind of state of readiness do you believe tonight those people are in?
Armed to the teeth.
At the beginning of this video, I mentioned science might be playing a part in disclosure, and I think that's almost certainly it has to happen. We are going to need scientific evidence to come along with this testimony. So I'm not sure if it's so much as a race between science and politics that is going to get us there. I think it's a combination of both. I think we need that scientific evidence to come along with the testimony to make it all fit together. Like we said, this is a planned disclosure. Part of a planned disclosure plan would be to have all bases covered, right? So I think it's no doubt that we're going to have some type of scientific evidence come along with these testimony. That's what is going to be needed to get people to accept the truth. So we might have some technology that is within these legacy programs that we could use to give scientific proof. And I'm sure that there is some science within these legacy programs that is kept secret from us. But maybe it's going to be too hard to declassify in a quick manner. I doubt that the powers that be are going to want to let go of some of that technology. So what else could they do? Well, they might want to look at some of the science that people like Avi Loeb and Garry Nolan are doing with metamaterials.
Professor Loeb has just come back from a trip that he says has advanced our understanding. He is a Harvard professor and head of the Galileo Project, Dr. Avi Loeb. Doc, good to see you. What'd you find?
Great to see you. Well, I found that it's easier to recover the truth about interstellar space from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean than it is from government.
These guys are very highly regarded scientists, and they are doing some work with metamaterials, I believe. I think they're looking at these materials and seeing if what they find can prove that they are non-earthly. Avi Loeb, I believe, had a team that has just spent some time dragging a magnet through the seafloor looking for metamaterials. I think they identified something entering our atmosphere on a strange trajectory, or there was something not normal about it. They tracked to where it was landing. It landed in the ocean somewhere, but Avi Loeb put together a team. They went out there and they dragged the seafloor looking for materials. And I believe they've found some materials.
This is all very exciting because in the coming weeks, it's just a matter of weeks now, we will put them under the best instruments in the world that we have at Harvard and figure out what they're made of. And once we figure it out, then there are two possibilities. Either it's a rock that was made in an environment very different than the solar system because the material strength was tougher than all space rocks, including iron meteorites. That's one possibility, but it's also possible that it was some kind of an technological gadget. Just think of Voyager in 1 billion years colliding with an exoplanet and burning up in the atmosphere of this planet. It would appear as a meteor.
Garry Nolan, another very interesting guy, scientist doing some work within the UAP community. He did a very interesting interview at a SALT conference in New York, I believe. He talked about confirmation of a non-human intelligence presence on the planet. He talked about his knowledge of people within the legacy programs, working with the materials, and he talked about how he himself was very close to obtaining some materials through the legacy programs. Both Avi Loeb and Garry Nolan seem to be the scientists that might be at the front of this in the public arena, ready to make discoveries and ready to put them forward. So thanks guys for watching this video. Thanks for joining us. If you did like it, please like and subscribe. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I'm really interested to know everyone's thoughts. I love the comments. So please let me know your opinions. What's going to happen next? What surprises might be around the corner? And what do you think about this controlled disclosure? And I want to talk about this more in another video, but is this controlled disclosure real? Is it a big psyop? Is some of it real? Some of it fake? These are the things we have to ask. We have to keep an open mind and we have to keep asking questions. We have to ask questions at every turn to make sure that we're not missing anything. We all need to keep talking about this together to make sure that we don't get lied to again. Thanks again for joining. Catch you later, guys.